Love the intro music.
And we're live. What's up, everybody?
All right. Hey. Yeah, so hello and welcome everyone to a very special edition of Live on IFT. This episode is a tutorial for IFT beginners. This will eventually be its own monthly interactive series where members of the IFT community support team answer questions live and show you the basics of how to use and get started on IFT. As always, my name is Ben. I'll be your host. Joining me, your other host, my colleague and best friend, Trip. Trip, real quick before we get started, do you have any announcements for the folks back home?
Yeah, so we still have a really good discount for students. So if you know a college student or if anyone, if you are a college student yourself and you have a .edu email address, just sign up for your Pro Plus plan with that .edu email address and you get 90% off, which is insane. And this is good for people in the US, the UK, and Canada. And then also, if you are a ChatGPT Plus user, go search IFT Assistant GPT. It basically turns your ChatGPT into a way cooler tool. It allows you to connect ChatGPT with over 900 tools that you've authorized on IFT. So go check that out.
Awesome. Thank you, Trip. Trip, we have two very special guests with us today. I'm honored to introduce you all to two of our two most senior support team members, Rohit Matwani and Scott Charles. Gentlemen, thank you for allowing Trip and I to host your live stream debut.
You bet, Ben. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. So a little bit more about Scott and Rohit. So Scott is a senior community support specialist at IFT. He joins us from Michigan, the Wolverine State. He is learning web development in his free time. And he's actually been able to apply some of the skills that he's learned towards building an internal dashboard that his colleagues use to monitor their Zendesk productivity. And Rohit joins us from Kanpur, India, and Rohit juggles like 3 different jobs at IFT. Like Scott, he does the community support for users, and he also handles support for services that it's known as platform support for services and companies that want to join IFT. And finally, he acts as a part-time API engineer for IFT. Most recently, he built the new and already very popular Mastodon.social service on IFT. So if you're on Mastodon and you haven't checked out the Mastodon.social service on IFT, please do so. And I really just wanted to I want to say that I was really wanted to give you guys a special introduction because unlike many of the support services that we attempt to interact with every day in our everyday lives, IFT support doesn't run on chatbots. And you're not confined to a list of FAQs. So if you are subscribed to IFT Pro or IFT Pro Plus, you get access to real people 24/7. So I just want y'all to keep that in mind. We have a great support team at IFT, and they're here to introduce themselves to everyone. A lot of you have probably spoken to Scott and Rohit once and didn't even know it. So yeah, thanks again, guys. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Scott for today's agenda.
Thanks, Ben. So hello, everybody. Today, I'm just going to give a very high-level overview describing what is IFT. And then Rohit's going to take the reins in a few minutes and go through a little bit of details with all of you. So going through things like how to build your own applets or how to edit applets that you might find on the IFT Explore page. And then if you have time at the end, Rohit is going to take a suggestion from you, the audience, and build an applet according to your specifications.
Awesome. Yeah. And one more thing. I added this in last minute, but every week we give away one free year if Pro Plus. We're going to do that this week, but only difference is because we have 2 guests, we're going to give away 2 free years of to 2 lucky people. We're going to give away a year of Pro Plus away. So we're going to do those at different times throughout the live stream. So make sure you're watching, make sure you're paying attention, and you know, Scott and Rohit are significantly more technical than Trip and I. So on weeks that normally Trip and I can't answer certain technical questions, we can do that today. So get in your questions, get in your comments throughout the entire live stream, and stay tuned for the giveaways. Back to you, Scott.
Awesome. Thanks. All right. So first, what is IFT? So IFT, if you're not familiar, the acronym actually stands for if this, then that. And IFT helps devices, services, and apps work together in new and powerful ways. Our principle that we always go back to is that everything works better together. And I actually have, if you're not currently an IFT user, if you don't have the IFT mobile app downloaded, I actually have a QR code for you here on the slide. If you want to scan that with your camera, you can actually download IFT and get started with us today. So kind of a metaphor for you to help explain what IFT does a little bit further. In the physical world, if you're assembling an outfit for yourself, you can mix and match different things, right? Different brands. For example, you could have Levi's jeans and Nike shoes. There's no rule, nobody telling you that you can't, put different pieces of clothing together into an outfit and make them work together in the same outfit. And so IFT uses that same principle, but with digital services and apps in the digital world. So if you have an app and a service that you use, but they don't necessarily talk to each other in a way that you might find useful, or you want to share information between them or combine them together, create something even more useful, then that's where IFT comes in.
Yeah, I love that. I love that metaphor, Scott. Thank you.
Well, yeah. And so first we're going to talk about services. So services are the building blocks of IFT. You build automations using services, and that's where everything starts. So currently IFT integrates with about almost 1,000 different services. And just to give you an example of some of those things, they could be social networks like Facebook, Discord, or Twitter. They could be task management apps like Todoist or Google Tasks, note-taking apps, website hosting platforms like WordPress or Blogger, or smart home devices from companies like Lex or Arlo. And on the screen here, I've given you a screenshot showing our Explore page, if.com/explore, where you can search for services and find a listing and some categories of different types of services that integrate with IFT as you're looking at ideas, or if you have a service in mind that you'd like to know if we support.
Yeah, and in the spirit of the services on IFT, and get things started in the chat, let's have everyone, if you wouldn't mind, just type in the chat. Let us know what service you like to automate most on IFT. And I will go to the next slide. Applets.
I did want to highlight Claudia. She's reaching out to us on LinkedIn. She was actually on one of our live streams maybe a couple months ago, maybe back in January. But what's up, Claudia? Good seeing you.
Awesome. All right. So talking about applets next. So when we combine 2 more services together, we can create an IFT applet. And an applet is an automation built in IFT. So kind of the terminology that we use, again, going back to our acronym IFTTT, if this, then that actually describes, as well as giving you an overview of how IFT works, it actually describes how an applet runs as well. So the way we think about it is if something happens, and we call that a trigger. So if this, then do that. And again, the first part, the if, is a trigger, and then the thing that happens afterwards is an action. And so this is an example of an applet on the right side of the screen here. The title of it is just sort of describe what it does. Automatically share your new videos to a Facebook page. And that logo you're seeing on the left, if you're not familiar, is the YouTube logo. So next slide, we're going to talk a little bit further about this applet and just break it down a little bit further. Cool. So again, talking about triggers and actions. So looking at the diagram here, the trigger is when a new public video is uploaded by you to your YouTube channel, then the applet will create a link post to your Facebook page. And so you've gone through this applet and configured your YouTube channel, logged into connected your YouTube channel to IFT and your Facebook page to IFT, and the applet can run that automation for you then automatically.
No, that's awesome, Scott. I did want to highlight, there's someone in the chat posted, JM Cormier used IFT in May 2018 for a political campaign, which is interesting. But they were able to reach 1.8 million voters in 30 days. And the only drawback was that Facebook was blocking some of the posts. I think that could happen, like if you are posting a little bit too much, but that's an awesome use case. And I bet you they were doing some of this cross-posting stuff with IFT. So like if they're posting on YouTube or Twitter, also post that content on Facebook or Facebook pages. So great use case, JM.
Yeah, that's an IFT success story. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Wow. Cool. Okay. Now I'm going to go through talking a little bit about some of the more advanced features inside of an IFT applet. So you'll see the top left picture on this screen on the slide here has these basically these three sections. And so we're going to go through each one. These are three different advanced features of an applet, you call them. The first one is a query. So a query gives you a way to request additional data that your applet's trigger doesn't provide. So if a trigger occurs and starts the applet running, then a query can be used to go to another place and fetch additional data from some other app or service and pull it into the applet. And again, the query runs immediately after the trigger, but before the next two steps. And so in this applet here, the way it's set up is we have a trigger with what we call a button widget. So you actually have a button on an interface on your iPhone or Android device that when you push it, now the applet is going to go query the Weather Underground service and pull in data about the weather at the location that you've set up in the screen or in the applet there, as you can see. And then now that you have that data inside of the applet, then you can use that data in the following steps inside of the applet. And so we'll talk about the filter code next. But I do want to say, if there's any questions about any of that, we can definitely answer those as well.
Yeah, feel free if you have questions about queries or filter code, throw them in the comments. I've got a interesting question right here that you might be able to help me with, Scott. So it's Chef Pachi Facile y Fit. They would like to automate all of their channels, and they're a little confused. They have 2 YouTube channels, 2 Instagrams, and 2 Twitters. So one for English and one for Spanish. And they think that they're all mixed up right now. I know with our Pro Plus plan, you can add multiple accounts, like 2 YouTube accounts, 2 Twitter accounts, 2 Instagram accounts. But maybe you can kind of explain this a little bit to me.
Sure. Okay. That's a great question. Yeah. With the Pro Plus plan, you do have access to what we call multiple accounts. So you can configure multiple profiles from a single service or app and use them maybe together in the same applet or not, but at least have multiple profiles from the same app available. And this would be a good example. So if you have multiple YouTube channels or multiple Instagram accounts, multiple Twitter accounts, you want to use all of them with IFT, then that would be a Pro Plus, one of the great benefits of the Pro Plus plan. Yep. But if there's a thing happening where they're getting confused, I'd love to dig in a little bit deeper with you, Chef, and see if you want to send us a message to our support channel. We can definitely assist with that further and dig into your specific use case. Yep. Sometimes I've seen it occur where there might be multiple accounts available, and they get confused in line when you're using a drop down to select between them, or sometimes it's it can be confusing when you're trying to link multiple accounts and the interface. The first time you do it might be a little bit, might be helpful to have a walkthrough on that. So yeah, definitely helpful. Definitely would be happy to assist with that, Rohit, or anybody.
And I want to highlight, so like one automation you can do, Chef Pachi, is whenever you publish a new video on YouTube, automatically write content for Twitter and then publish a link to that YouTube video on Twitter. The cool part, we have an AI Twitter service that was just released this past month. And if you write in Spanish at the very bottom, it will write you a Twitter post in Spanish. So for your Spanish YouTube channel, it'd be a really cool automation just to set that up. And then if you leave it blank, it just automatically defaults to English, and you can set the same thing, the same applet up for your English YouTube channel. And you basically have two applets that are running that whenever you publish a new video on your English or Spanish channel, it would automatically write and publish to your English or Spanish Twitter. So
awesome. Yeah. And I think maybe when Rahit takes over here in a little bit, he can show us a little bit about just kind of where to go to add, once you're a Pro Plus user, where to go to add that second account and kind of how to do that as well. So we'll try to keep that in mind.
Cool.
Awesome. You know what? Let's go back one because I just want to talk about filter code a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Of course. Sorry about that.
Yeah. No, it's all good. Thanks, guys. And thank you for fleshing out the details about that. That's an awesome use case. So I hope we can dig in further. So just talking about filter code as that next sort of powerful feature. Filter code uses JavaScript code. It's actually a place inside of an applet where you can write JavaScript code, the JavaScript programming language, more specifically for the technical users, it's TypeScript. You can use that. You can write that code inside of the applet to create conditions or filters and further sort of hone down on the functionality of the applet. In this example, I just have an example where, again, it's a button. So there's the trigger for the applet is a button push. So you have a button on your mobile device. When you push that button, then the action is it's a little bit cut off there. The action would be to turn on a smart light bulb in your house. But let's say you only want that to work if it's the very late evening. So if you want the applet to ignore that command if it is during any time of day other than between 9 p.m. and midnight. So in this instance, this filter code here is going and getting the time for the user. And it's aware, of course, of the user's time zone. So it's checking the user's time. And then if the current hour is between the hour of 21 or 9 p.m. and the hour of 0 or midnight, then it will continue and run the action, which is to turn on the light bulb. Else, meaning if not, it's not between those time zones or those hours of the day, then it's going to skip turning on the bulb. And again, you have this little filter code here is 8 lines or so. Mm-hmm. You can go on and on with as much functionality as you like. But if you're not a technical user, this can still be useful to you because this code was actually generated by our filter code generator. And so there are ways that you can use that without having to be an expert in TypeScript.
I'm glad you brought that up, Scott, because I look at this and this is hieroglyphics to me, right? This makes no sense. It makes a little bit of sense because I've worked at it for 4 years and I have played around with this. But yeah, the filter code generator is really take someone like me that doesn't understand this and can turn us into Merlin the Magician, right? So
yeah,
maybe let's keep that in mind as well when Rahit takes over, and we can just go over the different kind of one button push options there are for filter code generators.
Yeah, I'd say like if you put me at a desk with a piece of paper, I wouldn't be able to write this code. But with our filter code generator, it kind of makes it super easy. It's very intuitive. So yeah, I'd love to go over that later. Jim asks a custom GPT to generate filter code using the needed parameters from your service would be excellent. That's a really good idea, Jim. Thanks for bringing that up. I know we do have, and you might even have access to it, Jim, an applet creator in beta right now, which we should be releasing over the next couple months. But it allows you to basically in natural language write out what you want to connect and what kind of applet you want to build, and it will return a fully functioning applet. So be on the lookout. That's a little insider's secret for you guys right now.
But yeah, I think that's an interesting use case. I think if we are able to build a AI service that can have access to, the rest of the features of an applet as the applet builder would, then I don't see why not. We couldn't at least consider one that could create filter code. And yeah, as we know, as everybody knows, one of the things ChatGPT is best at is creating computer code. So output text, right? So that's pretty cool. That's a really cool use case.
All right, let's keep going, guys.
Yeah, so we're on to delays.
Awesome. This is the last one that would run in an applet after the query is done and the filter code is run. And it's the simplest. It's just a delay. So this is actually a very interesting applet that we've had as a published applet for some time now. This is that you can actually go on and on the IFT explore page, you can find an applet like this. So let's say you're in a situation where you're at an event or you're out somewhere, you're talking with a person.
Let's be honest, you're on a date. You're on a date. That's when you're using this applet. You're on a date.
You want to get out of that date.
Something's going on in an interaction, and you're just ready to exit the situation. And frankly, there's a safety element to this as well, for sure. For some people who are just feeling not uncomfortable, would like to exit a situation, but there isn't a good reason for you to have to dart out. Well, one of the best ways to exit any conversation is if you have a phone call, right? So this is an applet where you can, again, configure a button on your mobile device. You push that button, and then you can set a delay such that after 15 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, whatever you choose, the IFT phone call service will actually call your phone. And you will actually have your phone ring from a real phone call. You can have an excuse to pick up that phone call and exit the situation. And again, just with a delay feature that basically allows that to happen. And you can configure the delay here with a certain number of seconds or minutes or even hours for different use cases. Another one that's interesting for this is, again, going to like sort of a smart home type of feature. If you have a light bulb that turns on, but you just want it to turn on and, for a set period of time, you don't want it to necessarily burn for hours. You could have a smart bulb trigger the applet when it turns on. So every time this bulb turns on, turn it off after 15 minutes or 1 hour or 5 minutes or whatever you're looking to do. And again, whatever you can dream up, whatever delays you're looking to add, the world is your oyster.
Awesome. Very cool. And here we have ingredients and fields.
That's right. So I mentioned with the query that you can, once the applet is triggered, you can go out and grab some information from somewhere else and pull it into the applet. What I'm really talking about there is an applet ingredient. So inputs, right? Information that comes from a trigger becomes an ingredient, or from a query becomes an ingredient in the applet. So that's a bit of data or a piece of information that can then be copied and pasted or used or manipulated with the JavaScript filter code. But an ingredient is a piece of dynamic information. So it's not something you have to set to always be the same data every time, but it actually pulls the data from the trigger or from a query and then can use it. So let me explain. In this example of an applet, we have and anytime a new WordPress post is posted by your WordPress blog, then create a status message on your Facebook page. But not just talking about the applet overall, I'm talking about the specific applet ingredient. So if you look closely, you can see in the right side under create status message, under status message, right? You can actually set up what text will be output in Facebook onto the Facebook post. But every time you have a new a new WordPress blog post, right, it's going to be different title, different text, different link to that post. So you want it to actually post specific data about the new WordPress blog post every time, right? So you can see at the very bottom here, there are a series of ingredients from that WordPress trigger that are available for you to use in the action in the Facebook post. So you have and then in this specific example, I've used the post URL. You can see it in the in between the curly braces there.
Right.
Cool.
So in this instance, you would create a Facebook post that says, I posted a new blog, : and then whatever the actual link to that blog post is will be input or will be output onto the Facebook post. And it will be, you'll be able to link from Facebook back to the WordPress blog.
Nice.
So it's kind of a way, it's ingredients is really just a sort of a way to map language from one service to another, essentially.
Exactly.
And I think Rohit, you're gonna maybe get into that a little bit or touch on that a little bit in some of your examples. So
yeah, this will become a lot more clear, I think, with Rohit's demonstration. Soon you'll see how these work.
I've got one question from the chat. It's Cool Stuff LLC. This is contextual. They love pushing emails to Trello, but they're curious if anyone has an app to push message texts to Trello or Todoist. Please share.
iMessage.
Oh, iMessage. Yeah, I'm a nice, good catch, guys. I'm an Android user, so don't know, can't use all of those.
We got a green bubbles guy over here.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Did y'all have any ideas with that one? I know we don't have like an iMessage service on IFT. We do have iOS shortcuts. I don't know if iMessage really connects with iOS shortcuts, So maybe if you think about that.
You know what? I might while Rohit is talking, I might look at it, see what we could do with iOS
for sure.
It might be interesting.
Yeah, stay tuned. Cool stuff. We're gonna see if there's a workaround that maybe could perform this functionality for you. Cool.
Yeah, great question.
Yep. And then we got one actually from Facebook from Chris Curtis. When can we get multiple triggers, if, and, or, nor, etc.? I know with Pro Plus you can get multiple actions. You want to explain that?
Sure. That's a great question. Right now, applets just run off of a single trigger. So the answer is you just have to build the second applet that goes to the same trigger. But in certain cases, there might be times when you can build a single applet but use filter code, for example, to run. Maybe the filter code inspects part of the input and matches it to a specific string of text. And if it says, if it says one thing, run this action. If it says a different thing, run that action.
Yeah.
I would love to dig in, and again, if you could elaborate. If you want to message us, we can definitely go over any use cases further on that, Chris. But that's a good question. Right now, it's just one trigger runs an applet.
They want to run something. Yeah. If this, when this. So it's kind of they're kind of wanting to use. They're kind of hinting at filter code and queries, but
yeah, you might be able to create a custom solution with filter code and queries. And then another thing is just having multiple applets that just run if certain things happen.
Let's talk about that for just a minute. In terms of what support offers someone like Chris here. If someone wants to create something, right, and then it's possible in IF, but they can't quite use the filter generator and they can't quite code it themselves, is there a way that they can they maybe give it a try and then say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do? They reach out to support. This is what I'm trying to do. Could y'all maybe help me figure out why it's not working? Or how does that work? Is that something that IF support provides?
So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We can also help write filter code for them.
Awesome. Yeah. So, Chris, I think the best advice we could give there is just to kind of do a really good job of explaining exactly what you're wanting to try. I want to run. If these two things are true, these two triggers are true, then I want to run this action, but I don't know what filter code I need to enter in there. And I think Rohit or Scott or someone else on the community team should be able to get you to the finish line there.
Yeah. And it could look like multiple applets, or it could look like just some highly customized filter code or queries. But yeah, reach out to the support team. They'll love to kind of tackle this problem with you. Thanks for that question, though. Oh, last thing, might be helpful. How do I contact support? Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we should absolutely go, Rohit. If we, I don't want to derail you, but if we could maybe show that first, just show where the support button is, and that's probably some good feedback. If
Yeah.
it's difficult for Chris to find, we don't want that to be the case, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll
Sure.
be sure to get into that as well.
Sure.
Cool.
Awesome.
Let's. I think we've got one more slide here,
Mhm.
and Scott, this is just basically putting it all together, right? This is what every piece could look like if you
Sure.
used
Yeah.
all the different, pieces within an applet.
Yep. Just kind of an overview of all the different features, what they would look like in the applet, or if you did all of them. And this one is unique also in that it has 2 actions. So if you are a pro user and you have multiple actions available to you in your applets, then you would have a then and an and at the end, which means you run multiple things after one trigger. But again, still just one trigger is the limit on for an applet, but you multiple actions that run after the trigger.
Awesome, very cool. So I think before we switch over to Rohit, we're going to give away 1 free year of IF Pro Plus. Scott, I'm going to put you on the spot, and if there's something that you remember hearing in the chat, if there's something you see in the chat that you think was interesting, if you could help use that as a way to pick a winner for this first giveaway.
Yeah, I'd like to give it to Chef. That was a
Chef.
great question, and I'm looking forward to assisting further with that question.
Awesome, Chef. If you
Perfect.
would just awesome, yeah. If you would just email us at marketingandif.com, maybe attention to Trip or Ben, and we will get you squared away. Thank you so much.
I like the question because it'll pair well with the features that a Pro Plus account can provide.
Awesome.
And yeah, stick
okay.
around, guys. After Rohit speaks, we're going to give away another Pro Plus. So
Yes.
just keep hanging. Yeah.
Yeah, keep hanging and keep writing good stuff. Okay, so we're going to, at this time, I believe, Trip, we're going to switch over to Rohit's screen. Yep. And Rohit, you're just going to show us all kinds of goodness. And yeah, guys, keep the questions coming.
Yeah. Well, let's start with just showing how to contact support, and then Rohit can kind of walk through building an applet.
Yes. Awesome.
Sure. And thanks, everyone. Thanks, Scott, for explaining what IF is. It makes my job easier to explain how do we enable and create applets.
Sure thing.
So, right. So we go to if.com, and if you're logged in, you'll see the explore screen that Scott talked about in the beginning. First of all, if you want to contact if regarding anything, here's a help widget. You click on it, and you type your message, leave us a message, and it can be anything. I can write my name, Rohit, and my email address is already input here, and add any message. Hey, I need, and that's it. And we can attach up to 5 files. Maybe you can send us a screenshot of what issues you're experiencing or anything. And yeah, you'll get a reply from us.
Killer. Thank you so much, Rohit. Yeah.
So we'll start by enabling the applet. So on the Explore page, you can see all the applets that are created by the services itself and the users from the IF community. And the number of applet enables are shown here. So like for this applet, it's been enabled by like 260,000 users. So let's say if I want to enable an applet with Twitter and Google Sheet. So my goal is to, like, every tweet I like, it goes to Google Sheet. So there's an applet that is already created by Twitter service. So I'll just go there. And before I enable, I want to let you know that we need to connect our Twitter account and our Google Sheet account with IF. So let's see how that goes. So it takes me to Twitter. And if I'm already logged in, it will ask me if I want to authorize the app. Yes, I do. And yep, my Google Sheet account was already connected to IF. So you only need to connect to a service one time, and the next time, for example, Google Sheet, it was already connected, so I don't have to do anything else. So I just save the applet, and this applet is connected. So let's make it to action. let's see. I'll like the tweets from our Twitter account, and then I'll show how it goes to. Yeah, this live stream is nice. So I'll just like this one.
So meta, but cool.
Yeah, and it's
Oh,
real time.
yeah.
And I like
we
this
might
tweet.
open up a wormhole here.
Yeah, let's see how that goes. See Twitter and the Twitter. So I'll go to Sheets now and see. So I'll wait for the sheet, and this is an old sheet, so I was trying.
Oh, you threw it in the trash already. Come on, bring it back out. Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's this one is the new sheet. This last one.
New favorite tweet. Okay, perfect.
So I like two tweets in front of you, and this one is the live stream one, and this is the
nice.
second tweet I like. So
That's
here's
crazy.
how when I liked all my tweets, it was saved in Google Sheet. Now, this is how this applet works. But how do you create this applet? This was the one created by Twitter service. Let's say if I want to change the sheet name to something else, and I don't want this column that has the links to Twitter account. So this is how we do it. I go to create.
Real quick, Rohit, because I just want to explain to everybody what just happened. So there was already an applet that was created and published by someone else. In this case, the Twitter service created this applet. Now you're now going to create this from scratch. But just real quick, because I think I want to dive into the mind and the experience of someone who is maybe a Twitter user and they find out from a friend, hey, I can automate Twitter on IFT. But what does that mean? What can I do? So if you would just real quickly, before you create this applet on your own, if you just real quickly click on the Twitter service page. Because I think this is really important. Because so what you can do is you just go to if.com/Twitter, and you click on the details tab, and it shows you all the available building blocks, right? All of the available triggers that you can use. In this case, triggers. There's actions as well. And then if you go to the applets tab, you can see, just like the one that Rohit just enabled, you can see all of these different things that people, services have created. And it might just give you some ideas, some inspiration of like, oh, Facebook to Twitter, I'd like to do that. And you just with a simple couple clicks, you can. So if you started on IFT and you're like, hey, what do I do with this thing? Because IFT has 1,000 services and it's a million different things to a million different people. And so I kind of want to help steer people in the right direction just by saying that like this is a great place to start. This is a great place to get ideas from. Okay, I'm sorry, Rohit, back to you. Let's create this applet from scratch.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait,
So
and before we jump into this, I did want to just answer one quick question. This is from JM. Again, do you have some training YouTube videos or how to set up and operate? Yeah, we do actually. So on our channel, you're obviously here. We don't have to go there, but that's great. If you go click videos, you can kind of just like scroll down. We've got a video on filter code. We've got a video on queries, how to set up your first applet. So yeah, feel free to like look. And we also have Ben did a bunch of videos on services, like highlighting some specific automations for each service. So yeah, feel free to search through there and find kind of like some answers. We definitely have a playlist on how to IFT as well, and it'll kind of walk you through how to get started on your first applets. But yeah, thanks for that question, JM. Now you can get back. Let's start building an applet.
Sure. So what I applet did was if I like any tweet. So these are the triggers that are available for Twitter service and new tweet like by you. All right, this is the Twitter account. So the one thing that we discussed earlier was multiple accounts. So currently I have just one account added, but with the Pro Plus account, you can add new accounts as well. So it will ask me to add new account. This time it's my old account. I can log out and try with the new account. But so that's how we do it. So I think I logged out of my account, the applet I was about to create.
Oh no, you're good.
So, yeah.
Do you remember how to log back in?
Let me just copy the password.
Yeah. As you're getting through there, I did want to maybe highlight another question. So Joel, what's up, Joel? Thanks for coming back. With Pro Plus, you have pre-made filter codes that can run or skip based on time. Can you expand that? So honestly, as Rohit kind of walks through this applet building example, we could dive into some filter code. So stick around. We'll show you what that filter code generator looks like and kind of how to use it. I definitely know. I think Alan Evans would also be interested in learning a little bit more about the filter code. So, yeah, stick around. We could just walk you guys through it today.
Sure. Now, our action was to store it in a Google Sheet. So here's Google Sheet and go to spreadsheet. Now, if you notice in your previous applet, it was already configured. So the fields and ingredients were already configured and you didn't have to do anything. But this one is an applet that is totally controlled by me. So I can make the spreadsheet name, let's say, live sheet. And formatted row, I don't need any links here. So I'll just remove them and just have text in the tweet and drive folder. This is a folder that will be saved in your Google Drive right now. So it will be if/Twitter and you'll see your sheet in there.
And real quick, if you'll just go back real quick, if you can, I just wanted to, click on So for Google Sheets, because Google Sheets is a very popular one on IFT, can you explain to me what the formatted rows are going to look like? So, and what those three lines in between there are and how that works.
Oh yeah, thanks for pointing that out. So these three pipes are for separating the columns. So this one will be the left side of the pipes will be the first column. Yeah, in the right side, it will be the second column, and right side of this would be the third column. So we can add as much as columns as we want. Like I can have static fields here as well. Let's say live stream text.
Perfect.
So this is a static field, and these are the ingredients that Scott talked about. So the created at time would be whenever the Twitter post was made, username, the username of that tweet, Twitter post, and the text of that tweet. So if I click on save and continue, and this is by default applet title. You can change it to anything else like live stream applet, and click on finish. So let's bring it to test again. Let's like some more of our tweets. This one, and this one. So I like 3 tweets for this one. This is the old applet. And I'll go back to Google Sheets. I'll wait for the automation to run. This is the sheet now. And
it really is cool just how fast this happens.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
so
sweet. So you've got the date, you've got who the username is, you've got the actual tweet, and then you've got live stream text. Cool. So that was everything you had in there.
yeah, the static field is also added with every column because it was not added gradient. So same field will be copied every row. But these are the static fields of the tweets I liked, and it's here.
Cool.
So
let's now dive in and build, or I guess is the next thing you want to do is throw queries and filter code in there?
Yep.
Can we, I think we can expand on this example right here, actually. So like if we showed 2 different things here, right? If, because you've got a tweet that you've liked, that's the trigger. And then the action is to send that to Google Sheets. What if someone wants to only like tweets and have them show up in their filter code during certain times, or show up in their sheet during certain times of day?
Yep.
Right. I only want tweets that I like at night to show up in my Google Sheet. Right.
That's a great question.
How should we do that?
So we click on the plus sign between the trigger and the action, and we click on filter code. But I won't be writing any code here. I just want to run this applet whenever, like, let's say it's 10:14 p.m. for me. So the time is between 10 p.m. and 12 a.m.
Yeah,
so,
thanks for joining us so late in the day for you, by the way.
Yeah.
It's the weekend for Rohit right now.
Yeah, I'll be spending it now. So yeah, run if the current user time, which is my time with my time zone, is between 10 p.m. and 12 a.m. So and this is the filter code generator, by the way. It is on the right side of your filter code screen, and I made the changes, and the code is copied in my clipboard and it's pasted here. So
boom, you're a developer.
Yeah. So the code says after 10 p.m. and before 12 a.m., run the action, else skip the action. So append to Google spreadsheet is the action name, and I just add it here. So I'll just update the applet. It is the existing applet that I created. So let's see if it works. By the logic, it should work. So if I go and like another tweet here, let's see if it pops up here in this new row as well. So I'll just have to wait for a few seconds.
Oh yeah. I mean, is it 10 p.m. your time right now?
Yeah, it's 10:15 p.m. for me now.
Okay, cool. Oh, boom.
Yes. So it's posted here. But
Yeah.
like if it was an hour earlier, it wouldn't have.
That's cool.
Maybe I could change the logic to show how it.
Yeah, flip it the other way for the negative example.
Yeah.
Yep. So if I go in here, I'll just remove the old code. I don't want to edit the code here because I don't want to play with the code right now. So run a skip action between. So let's say if I want to add only tweets that I like in the morning, so 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., copy to clipboard, paste it here, and update filter, and update the applet. And now, by logic, if I like any tweet, it won't be pasted in the spreadsheet. So let's say if I like this one, it won't be posted. We can wait here for minutes or hours, but it won't be posted here.
So Joel kind of wanted to
I
expand
have a
on
question too.
his question, and maybe we can tackle this right after Scott's. But is there the ability to use filter code to reflect sunrise, sunset, and season changes, DST changes, and so on? So I think with if you maybe can like query the weather service on IFT, there might be a way to like do some sunset and sun, right? Well, yeah, maybe just think about that. But Scott, you go first real quick.
Yeah, you're totally right, Trip. That is another feature that is awesome, being able to grab that from the Weather Underground service. But I was just gonna ask Rohit if he could show us the activity feed, just kind of showing, you know, what the work that IFT is doing going back kind of in the history, as might be helpful to visualize.
Yeah.
So
and this should also show where it skipped, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay, it does show that, yeah.
Activity feed shows the logs of applet, like what happened behind the scenes and how it was posted. So the latest one was skipped. And so the tweet I liked was here, prepare your favorite coffee, but it was never posted on Google Sheet, and it says skip because it was out of our logic.
That's cool.
And before that one, it was posted because these are the tweet details, links, and everything. And it was posted to Google Sheet in the same format that we configured. So,
that's killer.
So that's kind of logs in your applet. So if you see how the things go behind the scenes, you can go to view activity of your applet. You click on view activity and you can see that.
That's awesome. Well, let's go back and see if we can query the Weather Underground service and kind of do what Joel was trying to do.
Sure. We'll add a query for that case.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, Joel's got a ton of smart home applets running, like highly customized ones. So I'm not sure, but I remember, Joel is a heavy IFT user.
So these are two queries. Sunrise sunset is for the for everything related to sunrise and sunset. So this one is like no authentication service. So if I click there, it won't ask for an authentication, but it will just connect for us. So we'll add our latitude and longitude. I'll just add example latitude and longitude, and -122.40, and what day you want data for. So I can add an ingredient from our Twitter, and it will then give us information about sunrise and sunset in the query, and we can then use it in the filter code. So if I see queries, it will be all the ingredients are available here. So it tells me when the sunrise happened for that latitude and if the sunset happened for that longitude and everything. So
cool. So just by adding that query, you're basically pulling more information into the applet, and then inside of filter code, you can kind of use that information that we've been pulled in there to customize it.
And we can maybe change the formatted row that we had for our applet. So let's say in the run case, we can add this here, and we can add the formatted row in the format of, let's say, sunrise and sunset. So this is how we add code in JavaScript. This is a little bit of JavaScript that I know. So
Don't be humble, Rohit. You're a genius.
One thing too, Rohit, if we could, I just kind of would like to show the other. We can go back to filter code at some point and just show really quick what the other generators do, because we did the one that was run or skip if something happens between certain times, but just like to show what the other two are for someone. Yeah, just really quick, if you could kind of
if the
show us
keyword
the
is
easy stuff to do. Yeah.
yeah. So let's take our Twitter example. So if the Twitter text, these are the ingredients for Twitter service, and these are the ingredients for sunlight sunset. So if the text contains, let's say, the keyword wow, so run the applet when the wow keyword is here, or skip the applet if the wow keyword is there. So in this case, I'm just trying to skip the applet if wow keyword is present, and paste a code here, and I'll click on update. So in this case, I'll just remove the query for now because we are not using it in this example, an update. So let me like a tweet which does not have a wow in here.
I don't think
So
many of them have. Wow, to be honest with you.
yeah.
But you could have like done the term live stream, and then basically, you can set it up so forever live stream you like, it automatically adds that URL to.
So let's
Yeah.
say if I'm going to like the street that says paycheck, and first and then try to skip it or run it. You see it. Should I skip the applet if the word paycheck is present, or run it?
Say run it.
Run it. All right, we will run it. So copy to clipboard. I paste the code here. Update the applet. That's it. So let's like the street. So it had the word paycheck here. So let us see if it comes on here or not. We'll have to wait for a few seconds. And it's
Boom.
here.
There it is.
And if you go to the activity, it should show us the one again that skipped because it didn't have the word wow, correct?
Yeah, but I never liked an applet
Oh,
after that.
yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah.
That's true. I think we did answer Joel's question by pulling in those sunsets with query. So that was cool. Yeah, Joel, I'm learning over here too. That was a good
Also,
use case.
I'd like to add one more thing. So DST changes are automatically handled because the setting in your settings, the time zone that you have set, if the time zone respects DST, it will be automatically considered in your applets as well.
Awesome. I think we have time for one more question, or maybe one more example, and then we can move on to our second and final Pro Plus winner.
Yeah. So yeah, right now, guys, if you have a question you want to ask, feel free to throw it in the chat. I'll throw it up. We've kind of answered all the questions over the past. Let me see if I've missed one.
In the meantime, do you want to see how you can automatically tweet at every morning and it is an AI generated tweet?
Yes, that would be great.
Let's do it.
So this time we're
So-
going to use Twitter as not the trigger, but Twitter is going to be the action portion of the app.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'll select date and time because I have to every day at, let's say, 10 a.m. in the morning, and at 0 minutes, I'll choose the query, and it is the new AI Twitter query.
So all of our AI tools are listed as queries. So they kind of happen in between the if and then statements on our platform. Just FYI.
Yeah, and these are the queries that we can use. For now, I'll be using tweet generator, but you can use based on the ingredients from other data source. Like you can tailor the tweet, or you can generate a bio from a text. So I'll just click on tweet generator, and the topic could be JavaScript because I like it. And use emojis, yes. Use hashtag, yes. And tone could be funny.
You're on Twitter.
And
yeah.
yeah, and language, if I don't add anything, it will be in English. But if I add it to like Spanish, I think someone asked a question of how they can maybe
Yes.
convert it to Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do Spanish. I don't know Spanish, but let's tweet in Spanish. And
I'm
I
always
go
excited
to
to see what happens.
Twitter and post a tweet. So in this case, I'll add an ingredient from the tweet generator service, and I click tweet.
And this
So
this is very important. Really quick, sorry, Rohit. So what you're doing right now is that you've created a trigger, then
Mhm.
you went and added a query, or in this case, you added the AI service on IFT, and now you're basically telling the action that you want to bring in that query. So it's just kind of a thing that gets lost, I think, sometimes. So I just want to make that very clear that he is using the query that he just created.
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
So the tweet will be the text from the query that is generated, and it will be posted as a tweet. So I click on continue, and every day at 10 a.m. post a tweet to Big Wave. And
But we have to wait until 10 to actually see if it
yeah,
works.
10 a.m. for me.
That's a long time. Well, no, I think that's great. I think that's awesome. We'll check back again next week for see if it ran. Real quick, I do have a good question. So, and as we're talking about queries, Arturo asks, I guess he assumes that we can string these queries together.
Yes.
And he said similar to plus linking, if that makes sense to you. But yeah, you want to expand on that, Rohit?
So we can link queries together. So let's say if I create on AI content creator query and draft a content on a topic. So for ingredients, I can only use the trigger services. I cannot just click on like have both queries together. But let's say if in this topic I choose Ruby, and tone would be professional and language would be Spanish.
Yep.
I'll
So
create a
now
query.
you're technically creating a tweet on JavaScript in Spanish and then a tweet on Ruby in Spanish.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
if I so my tweet says JavaScript, and I'll have tweet generator query that has JavaScript tweet, and then I'll say Ruby, and this will be my complete tweet, which will have which will have content from a different query. So I can have both queries in same action.
That's cool. I like that. The only, I guess, drawback is you can't do like AI Twitter post. You can't use the AI Twitter query twice. So you have to kind of have to use like multiple different queries. You can't use right?
Yeah.
I think
In
that's
that case,
correct.
Yeah.
in
But
that
there's
case, we
probably
can
ways around it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry, go ahead, Rohit.
but there's a workaround. In that case, we can create a chain of applets. So like, let's say if this applet is from, then we can take that query from previous applet and send it over to the next applet, and then use the same query.
Okay, that makes sense. So you just make multiple applets and then it gets you
Yeah.
around that. Cool. Well, sweet. I think Arturo's happy. We answered that question.
Awesome. Awesome, guys. Well, again, Rohit, Scott, thank you both so much for doing this today. I really look forward to you guys. And I don't know, for the audience out there that enjoyed this and wants more content like this, I don't know when you guys are planning on doing this, what day of the month or what day of the week you guys are planning on doing this, but I really look forward to you guys having your own live stream and people being able to come and ask questions and get responses live in real time from you guys. I think it's going to be a great series for IFT. If we could, Trip, switch back over to my screen.
Boom.
Because we've got to give away one more winner. And just like Scott, I'm going to put Rohit on the hot seat to check out the chat and find someone that you think worthy of a free year of Pro Plus.
I would say Arturo for a great question.
Okay. All right.
Arturo.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Arturo, send us an email, marketing@if.com, and we will get you sorted as well. So Chef and Arturo, I believe. Awesome. Guys, again, thanks. This was awesome. I would actually just love to do this again with you guys at some point too. Very cool.
No, this is awesome.
Well, thanks
Well,
again.
yeah, I think
go ahead.
Yeah, I think from what I understand, you're trying to plan this for like monthly, so like a monthly support-led live stream, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So everyone watching, just be on the lookout from our emails. You'll probably see an announcement where they're kind of highlighting their next live stream, and then feel free to jump in the chats and just ask all your questions. If you are a Pro or Pro Plus subscriber, please just use our help team. They're here to help you guys out. So if you are running into some problems with your IFT applets, they love to kind of just dive down into those problems, fix them, and let you get the most out of IFT. So, and again, yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us. This has been cool.
Yeah, this is awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Before we go, I think I have 2 links that we could post that would be helpful.
Yeah, totally.
Or one link and one comment. We do have a page describing actually a help center article on the site already that describes how to use how to run an applet only after sunset, for example, and kind of walks through it.
Yep.
Trip, do you have that? I can send it to you and you can post it.
Yes, send it to me.
I think the best thing to do is because everything that's in the chat right now is going to get lost. I think the best thing to do is wait till this goes live, and then we will post it as the first comment on the YouTube
Very
video.
good. Okay.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, perfect. And then the other part was just we had a question about
iMessage
shortcuts. Yeah.
Yep.
And the answer to that is you can actually use the iOS shortcut service. So if you build an iOS shortcut, which if you're familiar, it's a service that is native to the Apple devices, you can create a shortcut on your iPhone that would trigger when you get a new iMessage. Then you can grab the text from an iMessage that you received, and then input it into IFT using the shortcuts service. So for more details on that, if that user would love to, again, message us, we can go over more details about that and explain further.
Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff that you're going to get not from Trip and I. So this is great. Awesome. This is great.
Awesome. Well, thanks guys for coming. See you guys next week. All right.
All right. Adios, everybody.